Alright, what's up y'all, LakerFan here. As you can see by the title of today's video, I'm giving you guys the full guide to the best defense, in my opinion, in NBA 2K22 Next Gen for stopping three-pointers. Now, in this video, you're going to see what I call Transformers, my own defense that I made up, and it was made in the very beginning of the year to try and deflect from our two small point guards having to really just guard ISO point guards. And actually what it was made for was to play Joe's team against Fanta, who is now in the 2K League, for what was insanely good ISO offense at the beginning of the year. So again, we're going to go over all of this. It's in diagram form. It's very different than anything I've done so far this year, but I do want to be a coach when I grow up in anything, basketball, football, and I feel like this is a pretty good way of bringing this to you guys in a way that I feel like I can demonstrate really well, because sometimes in the examples of the on-court examples, people aren't in the exact perfect spot, or my teammates aren't exactly doing exactly what I would want them to do to be able to showcase how to run it perfectly. So in today's video, we're just doing a diagram where I can control every single thing of what happens and explain it to you guys in picture form. And again, we have the writing right here, so if you're more of a reading learner, you can literally just read what the steps are right here on the left as well. So we have multiple different screens that we're going to be showing right here. It's going to be, for instance, after the rotation of running Transformers. We also have another defense out of this same formation called red, where you're going to be sending a lot of heat at the point guard in standard defensive like formations and stuff like that. So again, just a lot of stuff to go over right here. There's all the three slides that we're going to be talking about. So I hope y'all enjoy the video. If you do, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, tell them noties, all that good stuff. And like always, let's try this one to 500 likes. So to start us off with Transformers defense, I'll just start with where the people are. So just to keep in mind what is going on right here and explain this to you guys, we have two 5'10s. This could be anything. It's just your two smallest players on the court. You're putting them on one side of the point guard and another one on the other side of the point guard. And you're probably thinking, well, Laker, why am I guarding a center with a 5'10 point guard? The thing is, you are ideally having your two biggest people on the baselines ready to drop for the center on a free slip, and then we're running a lot of different rotations right here. Now, with these videos, when I'm doing these diagram displays and stuff like that, people who watch these to study against us and like game plan for us, they're gonna just be able to pick us apart 24/7. And the thing is, if we're still playing good defense, then they still can't do that. But again, if my opponents, or enemies if you will, I don't like to call them enemies, but if my opponents can learn this and study this based off what I'm showing this, then you guys should easily be able to take this and comprehend it as well for your own good. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. That's the life of a YouTuber playing Comp Pro-Am. If I'm doing explaining things where I'm trying to explain to you guys how to perform and play better, then so be it. Sometimes it's going to be at my own demise, but it is what it is. Anyway, so again, to recap right here, we have Transformers. Both guards are doubling the point guard and giving up the free slip to the center. So this guy right here, they don't care if he drops down to the paint. It's whatever. At this point, we have a 7-2 and a 7-3. I will give you guys the detail on that for probably tomorrow's video. We have some stuff in the works of the lineup. I'll just say that much. But anyway, we have a 7'3" on the baseline and a 7'2" on the baseline. It's on the power forward and the small forward who are spotting up corners, because this is generally what every Comp Pro-Am team is going to do, is just stick two guys in the corner, have the shooting guard on the wing. They maybe will run some wraps. Sometimes we'll also maybe talk about that. But anyway, to talk about just the basic standard way of running this Transformers D, it's going to be the 5'10 point guard and 5'10 shooting guard. This is what we have right here. This could be a 6'3" on one of these, wherever you want to imagine the shooting guard is. It doesn't really matter. You're just putting your two smallest guys in the pick and roll defense, doubling the point guard, and giving this guy a ton of problems. He is going to be so irritated when he has two dudes with super high speed. They're double teaming him as well, and then they have the speed to rotate to this wing right here with the shooting guard. So after this point guard gets super frustrated and is like, yo, big slip, dog, I need to get a double team off of me. Someone has to be able to just drop down to you so that I don't have two people on me, because this guy is not in scoring range right now, the center, that is. He's only in scoring range when he gets to the paint, obviously. Now, don't get me wrong, he could pick and pop, and maybe, I don't know, if you're built different, you could shoot over one of the 5'10 point guards on the wing on a pick and pop, I guess. But realistically, the only scoring range the center is going to be at is when he slips down to the paint. So when the center slips down to the paint, this guard who is closest to the middle, it's very key that it's only this one who's on the side of the wing. So the one who is closest to the shooting guard is going to decide when he needs to bail, and then he's going to bail to this wing. When he does bail to this wing, the 6'7" who is holding two guys, he's the rotator slash baiter, as you can see I've labeled it. He is baiting both of these positions right here. He's playing two guys, and when the center drops, the center is going to be down here with this center right here, and then boom, 6'7" is playing a lane to the power forward, aka he's splitting the difference between where this point guard is and the power forward. So he's like right about here so that he can play a passing lane to the corner, yet will also be able to be reliable for that shooting guard if they check him really quick and this guy isn't over there yet. So 6'7", he is long-term rotating to this corner. So then when that happens, you now have the 7-3 down here in the paint with the center. He has now moved down and is down here, and the 7-3 has met him in the paint. So now here's the part of the defense where you have to be elite at this 6'7" position right here, aka like the 3. So with this position right here, you are here for a reason, and I'm gonna tell you why. You have the length to be able to be doing stuff like this, and you have the steal rating and the defensive badges to be doing stuff like this. These guys right here, they do not have the length. They can't get good jump contests. They can't get any good contests just in general from a distance or being on the side of somebody. So the reason you, as a 3, are here is because you have the length, the speed, and the athleticism, and all types of just height, length, like we've already talked about, to be able to play a lot of different areas at once. So assuming that they do send that center on the slip, that means that if this guy bails, now you have a 5'10" on an island with a point guard. Well, we don't want that exactly. So this guy is still going to give some help to the point guard. He's not fully rotating over here, and same with this guy. He's not fully rotating over here either. So that's why you're going to have your 7-2 bait off the small forward a little bit. You don't want him to just think that it's a free look at the center right here who's sitting in the paint, because this guy has to stay at home a little bit on the corner. So essentially what you're doing is you're having 1-7-2 right here drop about halfway down and baiting a little bit in terms of making them just know that he's still a threat to be possibly dropping to this or playing a passing lane or something like that. This guy is dropping a little bit more heavy, but he still has to be able to run to this corner if the 6'7" isn't near enough to this, if the point guard checks the pass over here to the power forward. So just keep in mind, this is all about playing halves. This guy is playing halves right here. He's playing halves right here. 6'7" is playing halves between the power forward and shooting guard. 5'10" is playing halves between the point guard and the shooting guard as well. And then the 5'10" that is guarding ball is playing strictly on the point guard. Simple as that. So you can see by the green labels that I have right here, you have follow point guard always. That's what this 5'10" on the right side is doing, aka the guy who is not guarding middle. The guy in the middle is middle support. He is there to help if the point guard gets beat in that direction. Like if this guy gets beat to the left and then the point guard has to, like this 5'10" has to step up to the PG. So all of this is decision making between this guy on the left, this rotator right here, and then this guy also. It's all three of these defenders, the 5'10", the 6'7", and the 7'3", trying to just bait really, really hard. You're turning point guards into a passer. And once again, this is how you D up on three-pointers super hard. And I'm going to love when we actually display how to run this in-game and stuff like that as well. But this is to shut down scoring point guards and make them use their brain, make them pass like crazy, and constantly have to just be a good passer. Simple as that. Alright, so now you're probably asking, well, Laker, what happens when you send that center on a slip and then you do run a rotation, right? Let's say the 5'10" swung all the way over here, 6'7" swung all the way over here, and then 7'3" swung all the way down to the center, and he stopped the mash, and now they don't have anything, and they have to pass it back to the point guard. Well, check this out. This is where the next slide comes into play. So this is going to be Transformers after rotate. So now that you have rotated, you sent that 7'3" down off this corner, and then everybody rotated this way. So one of the 5'10s ran out to the shooting guard, and then the 6'7" ran from the shooting guard to the corner over here, and then like I said, the 7'3" dropped from this corner to the paint. So now as they bring this back up for the pick and roll, you now have the 7'3" in the pick and roll defense, which some teams do not like to do. But here's the pleasure of this. We are going to run two centers. It's going to be a 7'2" and a 7'3". So this can be Tonic right here for those who watch the Pro-Am videos. And this is going to be me. So now that I'm in the pick and roll defense, we're now running triangle toward our corner where we have our only guy who can rotate. We don't want to rotate down to the 6'7" right here. So ignore the like purple and the green arrows right now. This is just to reference what the next slide is. But now we're in triangle. So now this 5'10" right here, and let me go back to the last slide to just give kind of an explanation as to where we're at. This is the point guard we're talking about who is playing defense right now. He is this guy right here because he was following the point guard all the way. So as they swung over here, now you're playing his middle on your own because you no longer have the middle support from this guy. If you have ran that full rotation, you no longer have the middle support, like I said. So now it's going to be you taking away his middle, your hedge guy taking away this wing right here, and while he's taking away that wing, he's staying in the passing lane to this corner right here. So that if this center right here, if he slips, boom, you're dropping the 7'2" down to him. 7'3" is staying in the lane to this corner while also still playing the wing help for the 5'10", and then you're literally just running a triangle. It's literally as simple as that. Now, the pleasure in running this defense right here is that if you have that 7'3" starting off in that corner right there, you got two people who can run this rotation. Now, ideally, I want this to always be the strong side, And the reason is so that we can run triangle off of it on the next rotation. So like I said, you want this strong side right here. I call it strong side where it's 2 wing spot ups. You have the power forward and the shooting guard spotting up on the side, or small forward and shooting guard, whoever it is. This is the strong side. It has 2 people on the wing, and I want the guy on the side of the 2 spot ups to be the one to drop, so that on this next rotation right here, because you have to plan for the future a little bit as well. If you run that one rotation and it's just a triangle, now you can't re-rotate and it's just kind of garbage. So with this, now you have the 5'10" taking away the middle, you have the 7'3" in the hedge defense, and then you have the 7'2" ready to drop, and you can just run like relentless triangles. It can just be meticulous over and over again triangles. You're still gonna be able to rebound pretty well. You have your 6'7" in the corner, 7'2" playing this other corner, and then the 7'3" in the hedge. So you're gonna be perfectly fine when it comes to rebounding, and these guys are both just playing constant wing defense. Simple as that. So again, just to kind of recap as far as the text goes, now that you've successfully run transformers, aka the slide that we had before this, now you're running triangle with your big in the hedge, ready to rotate to the corner for your other big. So like I said, same exact thing that we just talked about. Point guard taking away middle to make sure that you're leading this guy into your 7'3". He can play for ghost contests and stuff like that. We've talked constantly about triangle in all the videos that I've been showcasing, and I think it can do pretty good when you run it properly. Now, the problem when I run into the pick and roll defense as a 7'3" for the last couple of times that we've been playing is that we don't have very many big people to rotate to. So if I step into this pick and roll defense off a rotation or something like that, right? That means that now we have like a 6'9" right here. We don't exactly want him to drop, so I'm stuck in an area where I'm covering the whole court as the hedge defender. I have to like step out to where the point guard is open, still return back to the paint before the center gets there. Ideally, with this lineup right here, you can run constant triangle rotations off of that first transformers look, and your guards in your wing have all the power in the world to just literally decide, let's give up the free slip. Simple as that. Like, let's just say the center slips on this transformers defense right here, and you don't want to leave the point guard undouble teamed, or you don't want to leave him in a one-on-one with one of these 2 guards right here. You can literally still keep a double team on him, have the 6'7" play halves between the 2 guys right here, have the 7'3" play halves between the power forward and the paint, and then have the 7'2" play the halves between the small forward and the paint, and just bait them, dare him to throw to the center. Now here's where you really get them. Once they have thrown the ball to the center, you no longer have to double team the point guard. It's literally pretty basic, right? I mean, you don't need to double team a point guard when he doesn't have the ball in his hands. So when he finally does decide to throw that free slip, not to mention if you keep the defense in man defense, if you both hold LB or L1, I think on PlayStation 5, if you hold LB, you're gonna do the double team mechanic where your point guard right here is gonna get really bad passes. So with you guys in man defense, it has to be in man, just to clarify when you do that. But the 5'10s, double team the point guard. If you're in man defense holding LB, he's going to get garbage passes everywhere. And it makes it so easy for these guys who are playing halves everywhere to be able to just get to where they need to go really easily, because the point guard lofts the mess out of the pass like crazy. So like I said, let's go ahead and just inference and say, well, what if the point guard finally passed to the center when he's sitting down here in the paint just waiting for the ball? Well, by this point, he's probably waited a little bit. He has a little bit going for his 3-second violation. So now this guy is going to step down all the way into the paint. And then boom, the 6'7" commits fully to going to this corner now, and the 5'10" commits fully to going to the shooting guard right here, because now the ball is no longer in the point guard's hands, and now the center just has it, and you have a one-on-one everywhere. As long as this guy can just do his thing, you have to be really good with the mash defense. You have to be good at timing your blocks, chase downs and stuff like that. But at the very least, like I said, this defends 3-pointers perfectly, amazingly. All right, so one last time, just to refresh your guys' brain, because I know I've been jumping back and forth from slides and stuff like that. This is the Transformers defense after the rotation. It's literally just now that you have dropped that 7-3 down fully, like what we were just talking about, and let's say you got the ball out of the point guard's hands, and now you didn't have to double team him, right? This is the full rotation we were talking about, where one of the 5'10s rotated all the way out to the wing, one of the 6'7s right here on the wing rotated all the way to the corner, and then the corner rotated down to the paint. Center didn't get anything. He passed the ball back out to the point guard, and they hit a reset. Now on that reset, point guard, like I said, take away his middle, 7'3", set up toward the hedge side where you can set up this triangle defense right here, and then boom, 7'3". When the center slips, go ahead and just bail out to the corner, 7'2", back down, and now you have them in a complete bind. This guy only has to defend the point guard straight up for probably like 8 seconds, 7 seconds at most, and this guy's probably tired by this point too. So you've ran perfect defense to this point, and it's all great. But let's say you may be struggling against someone who is completely just destroying you guys when you get into sets like this. Well, here's where we talk about red defense. So as another example, let's just say this point guard is very frustrated with how he's constantly getting double teamed, and he's telling the center to get the heck out of here and just go down to the paint and sit there. Well, here's where you can take advantage of them a little bit. So you can see one of the big keys when it comes to centers camping the paint is you want to front the corners, because now if these guys backdoor you, it doesn't matter. You have a 7-2 or a 7-3, whoever it is, camping the paint with this center right here. So it really doesn't matter if the small forward to backdoor or the power forward to backdoor with the center camping right here. It's going to be a clogged paint. It's going to be very easy for you to defend stuff like that with the 7-2 or 7-3, whoever it is. So again, you're playing like fronting corners. 6'7" is ready to step up and play two. Once again, you with this build, your whole role in this defense right here is to be long, lanky, and quick reaction time. You want to just be everywhere, and don't commit one place too hard either, because your job is to be able to play two people at once pretty much the whole game. That's literally what your whole job is, and you're really trying to stay in that point guard's head. You want to absolutely irritate the heck out of this guy. Simple as that. So let's go ahead and just read all of the roles right here that everybody has. So as the 5'10" in this situation, let's say you got stuck like guarding him in the ISO or something like that, right? Your only help is going to be off this wing. It's not like this guy can help very much either. You are going to see he is fronting the corner to be able to help your right just a little bit, but it's very rare you're going to be able to get any help except for the guy on the wing. So what you're doing as the guy who is guarding the ball right here in the ISO, you're taking away this wing. You don't want him to beat you to this area right here. You want to push him into your extra help defender right here, and then your extra help defender has a helper as well, where he, the 6'7", like we said, who has really good reaction time, he's long, lanky, tall, and just good on defense and good at playing passing lanes. He is now stepping up out this corner and playing two. He's staying between the power forward and the shooting guard, and he's staying right here. So now you're probably wondering, well, Laker, what happens if they throw it to the shooting guard as the point guard gets double teamed? Well, this is what happens. The 6'7", who is playing two guys, chances are if the point guard sent a really nice heater at you with this shooting guard right here, and he predicted the double team, let's just say, and then this guy is completely out the picture. So now you have two guys on the point guard who no longer has the ball. Well, 6'7" has to commit fully down to right here, and then this guy is left completely open. Now you can see what I'm reading right here for the key of the 7'2", whoever's camping the paint. You want to get on the center's left, aka closer to the stack side, and the strong side is what we call it, so that you can be able to like kind of play two right here as well. So you don't want to be on the right here. You want to be on the left. You want to be closer to where your like strong side rotation is, and you're going to be able to help your 6'7" in the situation that maybe he gets stuck on the shooting guard, and then you commit fully to the power forward. So just picture this guy right here is right here instead. I'm just breaking down how the rotation worked for that. That's why the arrow is right here. But again, 7'2", he is now over on this side. And let's say they ran that perfectly. Point guard dotted the shooting guard. 6'7" had to step up right here, and the 7'2" has to run over to the power forward. And again, mind you, he's not running all the way from over here. He is like right here as that pass is being made, and then boom, he's just committing to the power forward. Well, now 7'3", you're stepping down into this spot right here, and you're playing two, center and small forward. So now that they've thrown it to the shooting guard, you can give up that strong, like, you know, skip pass to the corner, and you're able to play two because now the ball is way over here, and the shooting guard likely is not going to dot you on this side. And if he does, this is the thing. Now you have one guy rotate to your corner right here. And let's just backtrack a little bit. I understand some of this stuff is hard for people to maybe comprehend or just understand, but let's just backtrack. So the whole point of this defense was for this 5'10" right here to blitz the point guard as he ran to the middle, right? So now you have two guys on the point guard, but like I said, they just heatered you. They just absolutely dotted to the shooting guard right here, and the 6'7" had to step fully. Well, now you have two guys on the point guard for no reason, and the 6'7's rotating up. So it makes no sense for either of you to try and run over to the shooting guard, because the 6'7's not just gonna bail. He's not just gonna run back to the corner right here. So what you can do as the guy on the right here, since the point guard dotted you guys and you have two people on the point guard and no longer has the ball, you can predict that we're going to run this perfectly and rotate over to this corner, because like I said, the whole point of the defense right here is going to be, if you got dotted really hard to that wing, it's going to be 5'10". He was stuck in the double team. 6'7" is running down. 7'2", who like I said is not right here, he's right here, and he's ready to rotate over to this. And then 7'3", he is just bailing down to this paint, and you have to go. It's a full counterclockwise rotation. It's going to be like just straight like this. So to backtrack a little bit, the text right here that we have, again, this defense is called red. It's all about sending heat at the point guard. It's literally as simple as that. And you can see, again,
sending heat at the point guard while playing triangle. And again, this is the whole triangle purpose right here. It's literally like, okay, this guy went down because the center slipped, right? And then boom, 7'2" meets him in the paint. 7'3" is now in the corner, and he was playing like the corner for him and everything like that. And now you're stuck with what is right here. We had the 6'7" on the strong side, 5'10" right here playing the wing. Or to backtrack again, this is best ran when the center is just camping paint and the point guard tells him to get the heck out of the way, and he's just telling him to go down to the paint. So it can work either which way. If it's off a slip, if it's off just a regular setup and they told the center to just sit paint, it's perfectly fine. It's definitely just however you want to go about it. But just keep in mind, most times the 6'7" is only going to end up in this corner right here if they already ran that rotation. Now, I already know what you guys are going to struggle with for your own team and what my team is going to struggle with, because it takes a little bit of like basketball brain to really comprehend what's going on with this. But let's just say they're coming up the court, right? And you're expecting your two 5'10s, they're sticking ball, and they're just thinking they're going to be able to just double team all day because the center is just going to constantly keep on running pick and roll and slip, right? Well, what happens if the center just runs down the court and just goes to the paint? Then the 5'10s have to realize they can't double team. They cannot keep staying on the point guard like that. And the 6'7" has to realize too, he can't just sit here on the shooting guard all day. He needs to be able to get in this area right here and play two right away. As soon as you see the center go down, it's got to be one of your centers dropping down to him. 6'7" no longer is playing the wing. He's playing between these two guys. And then boom, you're 7'3" on the other side, or 7'2", whoever it is fronting the corner. So that's our breakdown on transformers in a basic, kind of most understandable way. Now, maybe in another video, if you guys love these breakdowns, because I would love to do stuff like this very consistently on the channel, just doing breakdowns with kind of the film study aspect of things, like the coach film or whatever you want to call it. If you want to see more of this in a complex way of how to beat a defense like this and how the defense would have to react to it, then we'll definitely do that. Because things that would be running through my mind are, how do you deal with a shooting guard like kind of V-cut right here, where if you were to run a wrap, you're getting, I'll just tell you guys kind of in basic form. If the shooting guard runs a wrap, he's going to get his point guard set up so bad right here because the center is going to have to slip. The shooting guard is going to try and wrap across, but the point guard can't get out of this double team. It's going to be so bad for them. It's literally going to be awful if they run wraps against this when you're running this type of defense. And the thing with it too is what you actually can do is keep this guy ready to rotate off to the wrap. So let's say you have the center slipping, right? And then the shooting guard's going to cut all the way across. He's going to come across the point guard's face, and the point guard's going to try and run this way. Well, now you can just set up the 6'7" to stay on this side for the hedge defense for the 5'10" right here. This guy is going to get ready to take the wrap, and he's just going to stay over here because the shooting guard's going to inevitably end up over here. If they're running a wrap, he's literally going from left wing to right wing every time, pretty much. So 5'10" gets ready to take that wrap. He's going to stay over here and just be prepared to take it. And then the 5'10" is now in the middle, and the 6'7" is playing hedge over here. You can run a triangle toward that, or you can just set it up the opposite way. Literally as simple as that. These three guys can all work the exact same way. It's kind of convenient when the 6'7" is the one that is your rotator because he's got the length. He's got the ability to do stuff like that. If this guy was involved in the defense right here and you just substitute him for him, now the 5'10" is really small. He can't cover that much ground. He's not going to get great contest. And that is what happens when people run wrap against you. You're going to get stuck with this guy in on-ball defense, and then you're going to get this guy stuck playing the wing or something like that off the wrap. So listen, I didn't want to explain something like that because I felt like it's way too complex for some people to probably handle and just try and like understand what's happening when it's not actually in live game action or anything like that. So didn't really want to talk about that in today's video, but just wanted to give you guys some insight as to what we maybe would be talking about when it comes to breaking down complex things about dealing with this. So like I said, wraps, V-cuts, stuff like that, where wing might cut to the paint and then come back out on this side. Again, point guard would just be ready for that, and he's just got to just take it, and then boom, this guy's in the pick and roll defense with it instead. These three just have to be very smart defenders, and the more you play with this defense and the more that you maybe watch videos like this, you're going to be able to understand everybody's role. Or, for instance, if this shooting guard cut, but then you knew that for a fact this guy was going to be able to just drop to the cut, you could have the 6'7" just rotate to the corner and the 7'3" drop to the cut. Or he can just follow the cut. It's as simple as that, really. And considering that you are the rotator and you're already playing between two guys, chances are if they do cut, you're already very close to just playing this corner anyway, or to just fully commit to it. So just understand that's going to be really easy to deal with. But then if the 7'3" drops to the wing cut, now the 7'3", let's say this, like the wing guy ends up running all the way over here. Well, like I said, again, 5'10", he has to be really smart over here because he's going to end up having to take that shooting guard who just hit that wing cut, that V cut, and he's going to come back out on this side. This 5'10" has to be ready to take that up, and then boom, now the 7'3" is in hedge defense, and the 6'7" is in the corner. So again, very complex stuff. I don't want to talk about it too much. I hope you guys enjoyed the video on explaining transformers. I know we kind of got away from that a little bit as we talked about toward the end, but either way, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, for to drop a like, sub if you're new, tell them noties, all good stuff, and like always, try to phone to 500 likes. Now, if this was way too over the top for you guys, you can go ahead and leave a comment in the box if you want, and just let me know that it was just way over the top. It's just too hard to explain. You think this like film study stuff or the coach speak is just not it. And to put it blank, if you want me to just dumb it down more and not be so like complex with some of the terms and stuff like that, or write down what the terms are, like when I say stack or triangle, stuff like that, I feel like we've already gone over it pretty well in every other Pro Am video, but I understand some people might be new and this is your first video watching. So if you need me to dumb it down a little bit, just feel free to tell me that 100%. But if you guys all followed along with this, if you made it to the end of the video and you absolutely followed along with it and you understand everything that I'm saying, put 7-2 in the comments so support's made all the way through. Other than that, like I said, I hope you all enjoyed, and we will maybe do more of this as well when we break down how to beat defenses, other defenses we could run, all types of stuff like that. I love doing videos like this because it allows me to kind of break down to my own team how to do stuff like this, or how I want things done, or just how we can be smart with it and get in people's heads, or what defenses to run against certain types of people. Again, this defense right here is to deal with scoring guards who are very bad at passing. The reason you guys might not be able to understand what's going on with the defense here is because honestly, you're probably not the highest intelligence like point guard reader when it comes to all this stuff right here. And truth be told, a lot of these point guards, when they see stuff like this on defense, their head's going to be spinning. They're not going to know what the heck to do when they send their center down on a slip and he's still getting double teamed. He's probably gonna be like, yo, why in the world am I still getting double teamed when I'm running ISO, bro? And they're gonna be so frustrated with it. Once again, I want to let you guys know this defense all hinges on this 6'7" being an absolute beast on the sticks. You need this wing defender right here. Again, some people probably think like if you're a 6'7", they're like, why am I putting my pure lock off ball? Well, the problem is your pure lock is the most important defender on the court, and you want him to be absolutely just destroying people on defense. You want him playing two people at once almost the entire game. You want him to be the most versatile defender as well, because he might have to end up in the hedge defense. He might have to end up guarding ball. He might have to end up doing this rotation stuff. So he needs to do everything on the court, and this is why it's so important, and he needs to know a lot, yet he doesn't really have to talk a lot. He's just going based off what the defense does. It's like an assassin. He's just going out here and doing his job, but he has to do his job really well, but he doesn't have to talk a lot. So anyway, like I said, that's off video. I maybe will get into detail with this more in the future or something like that. But anyway, other than that, hope y'all enjoyed. Take it easy, man. Peace.